So I'd first of all like to commend the independent group for bringing forward this motion today, and myself and my colleagues in Sinn Féin will be supporting it. I suppose we need to recognise the key role Respite plays in supporting persons with a disability and family carers, but it's not enough to recognise the role Respite services play, but also ensure that they are funded adequately. And Respite helps to prevent out-of-home full-time residential placements, it preserves the family unit and it supports family stability. There are approximately 500,000 family carers across Ireland who work unpaid hours to care for and support their loved ones. And family carers have long been held up as a crucial pillar of care and support in Ireland, saving the state billions annually. But time and time again, they have not received the support they need and rightfully deserve. Respite needs to be tailored to meet the needs of the families. One size does not fit all. Alternative respite provision is needed in a variety of settings and for varied lengths of time, depending on the individual needs of the service user and the family or carer. And this should include a mix of in-home or home-to-home family support, Saturday clubs, breakaway schemes and summer schemes. Many carers tell me that their respite for their loved ones has been booked, only for it to be cancelled at short notice if an emergency case arises, and this shouldn't be allowed to happen. Sufficient spaces should be made available to cater for emergencies and those who are booked into respite. The Disability Capacity Review identifies a major shortage of respite for adults with intellectual disabilities, noting that less than 1 in 4 parents caring for an adult or a child with a disability receive any form of respite. And it identifies a major shortage of respite for carers of adults with intellectual disabilities. It also recognised that latent unmet need could be considerably higher than what is recorded. Sinn Féin have previously committed to a significant increase in spending for respite services. In March 2021, we introduced our own motion to the Dáil entitled Caring for Carers, and in this we called on the Government to implement a number of measures to recognise, value and assist family carers, including a call to ensure that family carers get the respite they need by building up respite capacity, including delivery of hours and overnights through a doubling of public expenditure. And within this motion, we also recognise that carers and disabled people are more likely to be living in poverty, and called on the Government to establish a discretionary fund to aid carers and people living with a disability struggling with heating and electricity costs, and something that is now even more relevant with the ongoing cost of living crisis. So tinkering around the edges will not resolve the issues in respite provision. The Minister of State for Disability recently committed to properly resource respite services in each county. Well, if I can talk for a moment in terms of my own constituency of Cavan Monaghan, this is certainly not the case. Currently, respite services for both adults and children are provided in Annalea View, which is a respite centre in Coothill in County Cavan. However, because adults and children can't be facilitated together, the services are provided on alternative weeks. So adults 1 week, children the next. So it's not sufficient to deal with the large number of people who require respite services throughout the 2 counties. And there is a need for at least 2 centres, and that is not just an issue in Cavan Monaghan. Respite is vital, yet its provisions varies greatly from place to place throughout the country, and in many cases is very limited, if available at all. Now, when I raised the issue with Minister Rabbitte, I suggested that she look at decongregated settings, because many of them may be suitable for respite when the residents have been moved into community settings. Finally, the motion urges the Government to ratify the optional protocol of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Now, the UNCRPD was ratified by Ireland in 2018, and it exists to protect and reaffirm the human rights of disabled people. The purpose of the Convention is to promote and protect and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedoms by all disabled people, and to promote respect for their inherent dignity. And in fact, if proper independent living provision was made, as stated under the UNCRPD, there would be less need for respite within some cohorts within our population. The State plans to ratify the optional protocol after the first reporting cycle, but that could take several years. It needs to be reconsidered and should be brought forward. Sinn Féin have consistently called for the ratification of the optional protocol of the UNCRPD, as has the Disability Matters Committee. And once again, I commend the independent group for bringing forward this motion. Sinn Féin support it, but we also recognise that, as well as additional funding for respite, family carers and disabled people need a number of further wraparound supports that are documented in our policy document, a Charter for Family Carers. Thank you.